One thing I'm learning on this journey to a life of maximum fulfillment, the life of my dreams, is that faith is our number one asset. And I'm sure you probably know that already. But what happens when you seem to be running out of time? Like, what if you took a really big leap of faith and decided to go all in on your dreams? Something the world might say was too big of a risk. And now it's looking like you may not be able to make ends meet. Do you drop the faith in favor of a more worldly and practical approach? Or do you double down and move even deeper into it? What would you do? Come, spend the day with me as I explain why I'm deciding to lean even deeper into my faith. So by now, you probably know that I've gone all in on my content creator and YouTuber dreams with no safety net, relying solely on my faith in God and the dream that He gave me back in 2017 with specific instructions to create a YouTube channel. And usually I know I probably seem super calm and chill about it, but this week, I'm not gonna lie, I've been starting to feel the pressure. Especially now that we're just about 1 month out from the next court date with regards to the landlord situation. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can check out these 2 videos here for more context. But yeah, this week I really had to take a moment to stop and evaluate where I was at and what I was doing. It's like I know I'm being obedient and following through on the instructions God gave me for this channel, which we know from the last video is key. And while we wait for the rest of our community here on YouTube to find us, I also have been able to see some success and promise in some of the more practical options I've been exploring to generate income, all of which I've also been documenting and will be sharing with you in the coming weeks. But it seems like there's still a ways to go till we start to see true financial stability. And ultimately, it's left me questioning whether or not I'll be able to see the situation work out in time. And so as I went to God in prayer, asking if there's anything I'm missing or if there's anything else I should be doing to help me to start to see a more significant financial return, I was reminded of an excerpt from my devotional that I read recently during one of my mornings with God. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, perceiving as real fact what is not revealed to the senses. What stood out to me here was the emphasis on the senses, and it made me think about just how much we rely on our senses in this physical reality, especially our sight. Which then made me realize that it was no coincidence that on this day before leaving for the eye doctor that morning, during my Bible time, I happened to be at the story of a blind man who received his sight. In the story, the blind man was sitting on the side of the road begging when he heard a large crowd passing by, so he asked someone what was going on. And they told him that Jesus was passing through the area. And so immediately he cried out for Jesus to have mercy on him. And so some of the people in the crowd told him to quiet down. But he ignored them and got even louder, asking Jesus for mercy, which caused Jesus to stop and ask that they bring this man to him. So then Jesus asked the blind man, "What do you want me to do for you?" And the blind man responded, "Lord, that I may receive my sight." So then Jesus said to him, "Receive your sight. Your faith has made you well." And immediately he received his sight and followed him, glorifying God. And all the people, when they saw it, gave praise to God. All right, so let's break this down real quick because there's a lot here. This blind man couldn't actually see Jesus, even though he could feel a crowd growing around him. But as soon as someone told him that Jesus was there, he trusted, without actually being able to see him, that Jesus would hear his cry for help. So we see how the scripture emphasizes the importance of blind faith, because in addition to acting in blind faith, this man was literally blind. Also, we see how Jesus confirms that it was the man's blind faith that made him well, and that it was his blind faith that allowed him to immediately receive his sight. Meaning he didn't have to wait on anything because his belief was so strong. revealing not only the importance, but the actual power of practicing blind faith. And this power is then further amplified, especially when juxtaposed with the rest of the crowd, who also had tried to discourage and silence the man when he originally cried out for Jesus. Because the scripture says that it was when they saw it that they gave praise to God. And so the implication is that blind faith, believing with certainty before seeing, is indeed more powerful and more effective than only believing once you can actually see the works of God in the physical. Which brings us back to the original question. When it looks like we may be running out of time after going all in on our dreams, do we drop the faith in favor of a worldly approach, or do we take our faith to the next level? I say take it to the next level. Go from big faith to blind faith, and even bigger faith. Because faith provides us with the possibilities for realities, miracles even, that we can't yet see and would never be able to fathom. Realities that only God can bring about. When we only rely on what we know and what we can see, we actually limit what's possible. But with God, we see that impossible situations, like a man born blind, can immediately become possible, where this same blind man can immediately receive his sight. Jesus said, "Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." What I'm realizing is that faith is really about relying on the Spirit, not our senses. It's deeper than just what we can see in this physical reality, because there are always more possibilities than what we can physically see. For example, we can't actually see air, but we know it's there because we can breathe. Now, extrapolate that to the rest of our lives. What else is likely already there or on its way to us, but we just can't see it yet? The point is, our faith is truly our power. So for now, I'm gonna continue to stand on that power, knowing that this whole landlord situation is not a life sentence, and that at any moment, even with just a month left till court, this situation can be immediately transformed because God. So if you're curious to see how this all ends up working out and what I plan to do in the meantime, be sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications, because at this point, I just let you into all of my business, so we definitely in this thing together. And I'm honestly just so glad that you're here. All right, I love you. See you in the next video.